a re lotšheng ka gae nna ke Kwena Moabelo go tloga mola Afrika Borwa e hwetšang tokologo kgwedi ya August ke ya go keteka basadi se e le go gopola basadi ba ileng ba ya Union Buildings ka 1956. Good evening and welcome. Tonight we look at the legacy of the Women's March to the Union Buildings in 1956.
Afrika Borwa e keteka dilemo tse 60 tsa mogwanto wa basadi ba neng ba ipelaetsa kgahlanong le dipasa Union Buildings ka 1956 re lekola nalane e fetiseditsweng molokong o motjha ho tswela pele ho lwanela ditokelo tsa basadi.
They took us through history ya bona gore they were fighting for inequality.
Our foremothers, they laid the foundation.
I'm here to tell the story.
For us to learn where we come from, where does the role of women in struggle trace back to?
Basadi ka 1956 ba ile ba itisa ho lwantshana le mmuso wa kgatello ba lwantsha molao wa dipasa.
We were not sure whether we were going to be arrested, but we didn't think about fear. You know, when it says there are safety in numbers.
We managed to get there and we supported our leaders and they went there to deliver our petitions. But the man who was supposed to take it ran away. And we said, what in Taba first? What in Timboboto?
Diamahali tsa baetapele ba mogwanto e leng Rahima Musa, Helen Joseph, Lillian Ngoyi le Sophie Dubrain le tse emeng pontsheng toropong ya Tshwane di pheta pale. Baby Tyawa o le hlonolo ka ha moloko o wa baetapele o bile le monyetla wa ho arolelana tsebo le bona.
And they took us through history ya bona gore they were fighting for inequality ya pay, orally qualified men and female. How Mosadi was an African woman or about deprived for qualification as female, as gender, also the class you are in, as well as the race. So the triple oppression.
Puisano mahareng a meloko e thusitse ho ntshetsa pele boitseko ka dilemo tse telele. Moloko wa Baby Tyawa o ntshetsa pele ntwa ya tokoloho. Tyawa ke mong wa baetapele ba SRC tse neng di lwantshana le tshebediso ya Afrikaans dikolong. Mmuso wa kgethollo o ne o le kgopo, empa seo ha se a ka sa roba moya wa boitseko. Sebaka sena se neng se tsejwa jwale ka number 4 ebile le hae la bobedi bakeng sa basadi ba kang Tyawa. Ha tsamaya lebaleng lena o hopola ditlatlapo tseo ba fitileng ho tsona.
Nna ke fitlile mo number 4 re le ra tshwara ka 1977 since 6 ne ba re tshwara around I think October ba tlatsitse machineng ma ne di teng di leaders setting so ba tshwara ba fitla go sekolo ba re kwalla ka mogara tsa sekolo ba re tshwara rotlhe le di teacher bo mathabate bo mazibuko. So 77 re tloetsa anniversary. Maburu ba etsa show special branch called Risk Rise Celebrate. Ke ga re tshwara le a number of us. Ne re fetsa meeting, you know, ne so feditse meeting and then we re tshwara we re tlisa mo go John Foster for about 9 months. We just got John Foster go etswa re interrogate wa go tla shapiwa tla tsosa fro go 8 o'clock se go tlheseleng ya hao ba mantsibuwa.
Batshwaruwa ba neng ba le ka mora mabota ana ba ne ba phela ka tshabo hobane mapolesa ana a bolaya batho mme ba bang ba nyamela.
That time ntho ne re tshaba nna ntho ne ke tsaba gore o tla shapiwa o boshwe ba ka o bolaya motho le gore tu se ka ba le motho o tsebang o feletse kae ba ne sa alawa go bona di-doctor ne o sa alawa go bona di-relatives ne re sa tole di-visit from our parents ne ba tla zola ba tsamaye from place to place ba thutswa ke some lawyer. There was no trial yet, so we are awaiting trial for close on 2 years. I think I had my 2 birthdays in prison. I was 20, I'm sure it's 19 or so.
Empa Sotho ke kutlwano le moya wa botho o neng o rena ka nako eo.
Fortunately, on the other side of the war, no khonale Section 10 detainees. So there was 10 GMT. So Mam Joyce Siwani, Mam Helen Kuzwayo, Momatabo Parasi, Lima Khauta was there, Rebecca Musi, can remember a few. And what was nice, Governor, they had some privilege, some of them had been through Section 6, but they had nothing to be charged against, then almost like upgrade. Section 10 then upgrade. Yeah, go drunk, where you had better benefits.
Yeah, this was holy ground, the colonel's grave.
But when it has proved to the world that women can never be defeated, even if they are enclosed in a place like this. And we can always find the fellowship. Even when we were in solitary confinement, we knew how to get together.
Kgetlo la pele hane a lokolwa o ne a sa nahana hore o tla khutla makgetlo a mangata hape empa o ile a boela a nka karolo dipolotiking le tse bakileng hore baithuti ba bangata ba tshwarwe mme ba kwallwe ba bang ba epalehong.
Then we formed COSA, so I actually became almost like a full-time activist. But I kept studying. And then 79, later on, we got arrested with a lot of other executive members of COSAs. That's when a lot of other comrades of mine escaped the country again.
E sa ile ka mora dilemo tse 40 mme o kgutlile hape kgatheng lena o memilwe ke lefapha la mmuso la basadi. Bohlokwa ba o tla sebakeng se se na leng nalane e ne le bofe.
If you look at what has been related to or narrated, we don't find many women of 1976 coming forward. Hence, as a department, we thought that this 40th anniversary must also bring on board those women. Very key to show that in every struggle of South Africa, there was never a struggle without participation of women.
Sena se ananela ngongoreho ya bomme ba bapetseng tema ya bohlokwa jwale ka baetapele ba merusu ya June 76. Totsi Memela ke mong wa bona.
What I continue to find interesting is that many women that took part in the June 76 leadership, that took leadership responsibilities, many women are not mentioned, but I got involved after Tsietsi had already left, so during the time of Khotso Siatlulo. It was quite interesting because even at that particular time there were also women in the leadership. I may not have been in the core of the leadership, but I was a leader in my own right because I had been nominated by my student body to represent them.
Pale ya basadi ba nkileng karolo ntweng ya tokoloho ya ananelwa.
Also picking at this particular center, which is the Constitutional Hill, it was to give an opportunity to the current generation to also reflect and see the women who were incarcerated here because of the same issue of education in 1976, which was banned education.
Totsi ke mongwe wa baithuti ba ileng ba ya palehong o re hlalosetsa ka bophelo bo thata bo a ileng a kopana le bona.
When I worked in the underground, my responsibility was actually to bring people inside the country, take people that were in danger out of the country. And for a very long time, I panicked each time I had to go through a airport, because for many years I actually used forged passports because I had to do the work that I needed to do. I stayed in Swaziland for a number of years, was adopted by a family, and that family got a Swazi passport for me, which is the passport that I actually used for many years.
O ithutile ha boima, mme jwale o batla ho matlafatsa moloko o tlang.
I'm grateful to be alive today because I'm here to tell the story. And it's not my story, it's her story too. And we need to make sure that we begin to write our stories so that we don't wait for ourselves to get too old that we can't tell the stories.
As the class of 2016,
Matseleng ke mong wa batjha ba neng ba kenetse dipuisano.
touched because go tlhaloganya gore who you are, you must itse gore o berekela mo foundation e feng. So bo mama ba rona le bo mama ba bone rona batho ba Africa rena le a rich oral history. That kanako ewa, it's oral because kanako ewa renesa capture data in the same way that, you know, Baba Naling, the power of the pen. Our foremothers, they laid the foundation, you know, prior. The women laid that foundation. They carried it on 1956, 1976, 2016. And to understand that we as young people or as humans, it's not about us. We need to now carve the path.
Ana diphephetso tseo meloko e ya basadi di tobaneng le yona di a tshwana.
Triple oppression is still there. It's a myth to say that it's gone. If you look at where we are today, the 1956 women through the Women's Charter, they said the right to vote, which we have, right to democracy, which we have, access to education, which we have. But what do you still find? Patriarchy.
Uniformity, moody generation, education, but the way really dirang different. And Jaka bana bua ka 1976 ne le ka access ba khwaetso re batla go tsena mo di university re batla go bala re batla dibuka 2016 ra re it's not enough gore fa dibuka, it's not enough to say o mo sekolong re batla ha re bala dibuka tse di re prepare not just to be part of an already well-oiled machine, but to be self-sufficient.
Baetapele ba batjha ba buile ka diphephetso tseo ba tobaneng le tsona. E kgolo ho tsona e leng ho hlekefetswa ha baithuti ba basadi dibakeng tsa thuto e phahameng.
Young women, we don't get support when there is no accountability for the violation of our human rights. Where it matters. But where it infringes on patriarchal tones, that's when the world wants to say, okay, so rape, blessers, etc., etc. There's so many things that young women, especially post-apartheid South Africa, in the independent world that we go through. And in universities, we're saying, we're not going to report things and then be told in a very condescending way. Go back and sort it out, Sort it out, talk about it. They come up with fancy titles to protect, institutions or individuals. We are not, we're just saying we want to be heard. This is what happens to us.
You realize that we don't have the same struggles. In fact, we have a ground that allows us to fight our struggle a bit more easier, but we're still facing the same sort of misogynist, patriarchal relation. You're too busy fascinated over my physical appearance that you can't even think about the broader mandate, which is for us to ascertain free, quality and equal education. So your inability as a man, as someone who benefits from male privilege, to look at me as your equal counterpart in the current struggle, hinders the broader struggle from being realized. Patriarchy is so rife that it is even entrenched in our thinking from when we are little, in the way we are socialized in our families and in our communities.
Behavioral attitudes still there from various people. Work environment. Women are still seen as women and not capable. So that's part of patriarchy. In the patriarchal society, men still want to define our destiny, still want to define where we belong.
To change, the change to conscientize batho, not only basadi or basitsanyana, but change to batlhalose gore feminism or gender, whatever you want to call it. Basadi ke batho, ba tseja ka batho. Why change to bonwe pele ka basadi before re bonwa ka batho?
We need to strengthen our role, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of sacrifice. Maybe Hariso sacrifice it handle. I think we thought, there's a constitution, there's so many opportunities. Surely man, they're guarded now, they're safe. Anti-revolution has failed.
Bohle ba dumellana hore tsela e sa le telele ho fihlella tokoloho e phethahetseng ya basadi, mmuso o tswela pele ho hlahisa menyetla.
As we fight patriarchy, we cannot fight it alone. We also have to educate, socialize, including men differently, for them to be able to take us to that equal society. Because if we are unable to do that, then it's going to be a lost exercise.
We can't work towards finding similarities or finding differences, and that type of thing. I think what we need to work towards is how much progress have we made? What more can be done? What was the generational mission of that particular generation? And what is our generational mission? And how all our efforts then linking up to the greater goal?
Ho hlahisa menyetla ho tla ntlafatsa maemo. Ke ka ho Matseleng a qadileng campaign e thusang batjha.
Importantly, organization ewa ke go ruta batho strategy. Because ko makeisheneng, ko magaeng a rona ra itse gore tshwantse re pass matric. Basadi ba rona ba re lo passing matric. Re passa matric and then re modi ga rena mebereko. Re kwala di CV but ga re tlhaloganye strategy. So matuma it's aimed at gore okay, passa matric A, but o itse gore mo grade 11 ke dilo tse ba di batlang, di point ke tse o passe yana ha o batla go dira yana. Application form ke bokana o e kreya kae, re tla di isa kae. The funder kitse o kwala lekwalo yana o le package yana as the tools.
Totsi Memela o sebeletsa mokgatlo o bitswang International Women's Forum lo thusang basadi ho tswela pele.
For me, over and above working in IWF where I do the mentoring part, I also have a number of young women that I actually mentor as a professional.
Tsela e botswa ho ba pele, me e bang o hloka thuso, botsa.
I think the one thing that becomes important for young women is not to be scared to reach out, because you always think, how dare I pick up the phone? But we're always waiting for that person that will pick up the phone, because it means they've taken the initiative, they've sought you out, therefore they will have a commitment to see their relationship through.
Jwale ka ha moelelo wa ho ketekwa ha letsatsi la basadi o bolela selemong sena, basadi ba kopane ho ntshetsa Afrika Borwa pele. Dipuisano pakeng tsa meloko e fapaneng di tla tswela pele ho potlakisa tokoloho ya basadi mahaeng, mesebetsing, setjhabeng ka kakaretso. Ha fela basadi ba ntse ba hlekefetswa, tokoloho ha e so phethahale.
Re khathile temana ya lekgono a re kopaneng gape beke e tlang ka 6 o'clock mathapama gona mo go SABC 2 e fela pele re kgaogana gopola ge ba gona le ditaba tšeo le ratang gore di tšweletše o ka re ngwalela go leihlo la sechaba@sabc.co.za goba o romela fax go 086 613 1227. Gape o ka re etela go Facebook. Please, like our page on Facebook. Ebile o ka khwetša lenano la rena mo go YouTube. Go kwa ka lenano la rena le latelang Lesedi FM, Motsweding FM le Thobela FM ka labone mesong go tloa ka iri ya senyane. Ga ibe khutšo le shebe-shebe go Maafrika Borwa ka moka.